Today, we're reviewing a powerful phone with some great features, but this isn't the crown jewel device iOS fans are looking forward to. Jaime already spent some time detailing his experiences with the smaller iPhone 8, but the 8 Plus courts a slightly different audience. Trickier this year to determine just who is this device actually for. Is this premium purchase going to feel like a consolation prize? Here's our iPhone 8 Plus review, brought to you by dbrand. Using this phone for a couple weeks, my opinion regarding the design hasn't changed from our first impressions, because my opinion hasn't really changed over the last 4 years, and every day feels increasingly dated in a world of LG V30s and Note 8s. And I'm still not a big fan of glass-back phones, where Apple's return here is at least for practical reasons, a change to introduce wireless charging. I am happy to report that the silver variant is probably the least fingerprint smudgy glass phone I've ever used. Minus the Apple logo, you just won't see your finger grease unless you shine a light directly on it. Still, it's this slick rear that contributed to the phone sliding out of my pocket while crouching, and from a distance of about a foot, cracking the top glass and denting the aluminum. It's not the most confidence-inspiring, and lending further evidence to why I personally now keep all my phones in a case or a skin with a screen guard. I wouldn't get too smug, Android fans. In a world of curved glass on all sides, I'm pretty confident most modern phones will be similarly fragile. What we can't fault is the performance. The A11 Bionic chipset nicely leapfrogs Qualcomm's best offering and is only powering a 1080p display. The 8 Plus is a screamer. We're well beyond just smooth UI navigation. This phone is gross overkill for covering the basics, easily chewing through graphics-intense gaming, and represents a great platform for future services like augmented reality. We have a separate video on that, but Apple's approach to computational world awareness is really compelling, currently offering smoother, more accurate location than our Project Tango hardware. This is the best way to introduce AR to the masses, and Apple has the leverage to make something like this stick, to make it cool. In one phone release, Google and Microsoft are now playing catch-up. The rest of the changes coming to iOS 11 have been poured over, though I should reiterate how much I love the new layout for the control center. And Apple should be patted on the back for including better file management for your various cloud accounts. Apple isn't about the OS aesthetic. Touch square, get app, get the OS out of the way. We shouldn't be surprised that this hasn't changed much. It's a feature, not a bug. Though combining the notification shade and the lock screen can be a bit confusing, notifications are still messy, and Apple still faces challenges introducing force-press gestures. There's no conveyance for how it works, and users just randomly have to guess when they can press. So basically, I never use it. Looking at the camera, most improvements are in processing and storage, not in actual quality of output. Differences between the iPhone 8 and 7 are minimal. If anything, just slight shifts to color processing and white balance. The 8 Plus delivering just a touch more saturation and warmer output. I am crazy excited to see HEVC as the default though. High-quality 4K video in about the same storage space as most Android phones' 1080p. Even though Huawei shifted to this compression with the Mate 9, only Apple could convince Google to start supporting HEVC on YouTube and in the Photos app, so well done, Apple. 4K video at 60 frames per second, 1080p slow-mo at 240, the iPhone 8 Plus camera is a frame rate beast. The other major software improvement comes to the portrait mode with portrait lighting. It's not the kind of filter effect I'm going to use a lot, but it's a fun mode to classy up your shots. Surprisingly, I haven't seen as many profile photos using this effect as I would have thought, and maybe that's because this phone isn't selling that well. Even though Apple announced it in beta, it's working well enough considering the processing and depth information. Now, the audio conversation is nearly identical to the iPhone 7 Plus. The speakers have a touch more bass, but it's barely noticeable. and the headphone playback is dependent on the dongle, so that hasn't changed. And you can see our charts in the Real Audio review if you're interested in the nitty-gritty. Lastly, for all the similarities, reducing the battery capacity on this phone is an odd move. More powerful internals, more taxing software, runtime has been reduced over our initial reviews on the iPhone 7 Plus. It's still an all-day phone, but it's running leaner past dinner time. And I honestly have concerns over this phone aging over 2 years after my experiences on the 7 Plus. We're happy to know that this phone supports quick charging, but not including a fast charger in the price is disappointing. Recharging this iPhone on the included plug is a bit of a chore. So let's wrap this up. Where's that leave us with the iPhone 8 Plus? I'm still somewhat struggling with who exactly this phone is for. Many die-hard iOS fans are waiting for the iPhone 10. You can have that horsepower today, just in a stale design, without Face ID, and minus some camera refinements. The converse, you can get a remarkably similar overall experience in an iPhone 7 Plus for cheaper. This shrinks the consumer demographic who might be interested in this phone, especially as Apple is now actively carrying 5 different models of iPhone. So we're not surprised that the iPhone 8s aren't selling out. There is an idea of legacy though. Folks watching this video likely won't be bothered by Apple removing the home button or moving menus around. But we all have family members that might be upset by that change. There is a niche consumer looking for something new, but who doesn't want to relearn navigation. The iPhone 8 Plus will be a perfect fit for them. And when those family members buy this pricey, slippery phone, make sure they have some way to hold on to it. Dbrand has a wide collection of skins in different colors and textures to match nearly any style, protect against scratches, and provide more grip. Check out dbrand.com or hit the link in the description below to start customizing your phone. As always, thanks so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to this channel for our full iPhone coverage and help us out with some sharing on your favorite social networks. For Pocketnow, I'm Juan Carlos Bagnell, some gadget guy on Twitter and Instagram, and I will catch you all on the next review.